Welcome to CSN, the Network Podcast. This is your host, Kayvon Cutler, with my lovely co-host, Dree Nazario and Malik Hampton. How are y'all doing this evening?
I'm good, man. How you guys?
I know me, blessed and highly favored. Blessed and highly favored. How you doing, brother?
Likewise, man. I'm blessed and highly favored as well. Better now that I'm talking to you two. Feeling a little bit under the weather. I made a silly mistake the other night and slept under the fan as if it's not fall already, So I'm feeling it a little bit, but we're going to fight through, man. We dedicated, so.
Y'all turned y'all's heat on already, or y'all thugging it out?
I'm trying to hold off for as long as I can. I'm not going to.
I damn near keep a heater on all year long, like space heater.
Oh man.
Weird.
Oh man.
Cold blooded.
Word. Yeah, I'm trying to hold out. Luckily, I have a fireplace, so I'll turn that on before I turn the heat on.
Yeah, man. I mean, once you cut that heat on, ain't no telling what that electric bill gonna look like. I mean,
Word.
at your own risk.
Word.
But with that being said, man, let's hop right into it. We're coming at y'all on a different angle this week. We're gonna switch up how we do the content, man. Of course, we do game recaps. Y'all seen us do interviews, but now we're about to tackle the content from a different angle in reference to mainly discussing storylines and different topics that correlate with the major sports and major sporting news. So with that being said, let's make sure we take care of the area first with local high school football, and let's get to it. Starting out, undefeated and top-ranked team in the MSAC, Huntington High School, was able to outlast South Charleston High School this past Friday evening as they dominated SC in the second half to win the game 52-21. SC was up 14-10 at halftime, but Huntington was led by their quarterback, Gavin Lochow, as he scored all 5 of his rushing touchdowns in the second half, as Huntington scored on all 6 possessions in the second half. Wayne Harris, shout out to him, he balled for SC as he scored, but the turnovers ultimately hurt SC in the game. Huntington will be on a bye next week as South Charleston will look to bounce back as they face Hurricane High School. Moving on to Dree and Malik's alma mater, they handled business this past Friday as George Washington High School defeated Woodrow Wilson High School 48-35 after rushing for 455 yards on 45 attempts Friday evening. G-Dub freshman running back Keegan Sack led the team with 178 yards and 4 touchdowns on just 15 carries. G-Dub was also led by their senior running back, Haston Pinkerton, as he rushed 12 times for 158 yards, adding the touchdown. G-Dub will travel next week to take on Parkersburg High School, as Woodrow will face Oak Hill High School. Spring Valley High School were able to execute defensively in their matchup as they defeated Fairmont Senior High School 21-0. Spring Valley is coming off a bye as they were led by receiver Ty Bartram, who caught 5 passes for 98 yards and a touchdown, and also their star quarterback Dalton Fouch, as he threw 2 touchdown passes on Friday, giving him over 20 such passes for the year. Spring Valley will host undefeated and the top-ranked team in AAA football, Martinsburg High School, as Spring Valley beat them last year 22-20. We'll see if they can repeat this here at home. That's it for your local high school rundown. Again, this is West Virginia High School AAA Sports.
Word. Look like Huntington. They definitely on a mission.
Yeah, for sure. I thought we had them boys on Friday. I'm not gonna lie. Malik was live tweeting.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I seen that tweet. You did the eyes. Then shoot. I seen that final score. I'm like, oh, dang.
Yeah, it's the tale of 2 halves. So, like last week's title, that's why we play the game. You got to finish. You know what I mean? We started out well, but we only scored once in the second half, as y'all can see. So they turned that 14-10 deficit, scoring 42 points in the second half to our 7. It's not a good recipe right there.
That's tough. Just real quick, do you guys have any surprise performances, standout performances, anything of that nature that you want to highlight?
Um, Standout performances. Shout out to the young bull from G Dub, man.
Keegan, yeah,
15 carries, 178,
178 yards.
4 tugs. That's fire. Shout out to him too. Freshman. Um, Other than that, nah. I do think it's hard that Spring Valley and Martinsburg playing.
I do too. I
like
agree.
that.
That's crazy that they were
That
able.
should be a tough matchup.
Yeah, for sure. And I was going to say this here while I was just doing my research. I didn't know Spring Valley beat Martinsburg last year, so that's just crazy in itself. You know what I mean? Like Spring Valley's really, turning that tide in reference to really showing proof that they're really a great program. You know what I mean? Not just for a short period of time, but for the long haul. So that's going to be a good game right there, man. They got Martinsburg traveling. That's a good trip, Malik, because it takes us a little minute to get to Spring Valley from where we are in Charleston. So yeah, that's a nice little trip right there.
Martinsburg at the top of the state.
Yeah, it's going to take them a good close to 4 hours at least to get there.
Right. Well, with that being said, like you said, let's get into NCAA football. Just right off the bat, we've had a lot of upsets, a lot of people, a lot of shuffling around at the top 25. At this point of the season, who are your top contenders?
How many we giving? Like 4?
Give me your top 5.
Top 5. I like Georgia. I like Cincinnati. I like Bama. I like Oklahoma, I guess, up until this point. And probably Ohio State after that. But it's you can put a couple people there, to be honest with you, because Michigan's still undefeated.
They got a banger coming up this week against Michigan State too.
Yeah, Penn State just lost, so that Big Ten finish is gonna be crazy. I was talking to my brother about that. It's gonna be, it's gonna be nice little finish there. I think it's a bunch of one-loss teams for real, so it's gonna come down to the wire who win these last few games. But my 5th one would probably be I don't know, man. I guess I don't know, man. It's hard. I really don't know. I guess I give it to
I thought he named 5.
Did I name 5?
I thought you named 5 too. You said
Good, bro.
You said Georgia, Cincinnati, Alabama, Oklahoma, and O State. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's the 5 right
there. Yep. What you got, Kay?
I would say the same thing in reference to Georgia, Cincinnati, Alabama, and Oklahoma, but I'm going to go a little different here. I do think Michigan's going to knock off O State this year. I think Michigan's going to knock off Michigan State this year. So we'll see. We're going to see.
It's not happening. It's not happening, bro.
We're going to see, man. I think this is Coach Harbaugh's year, man.
This is probably his best chance, but I still don't see it happening because they don't got an explosive offense. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
If they got to play catch up, we know how the game goes. But
100%.
That's been the same for a minute. So I don't know. I still don't got Michigan beating them, and this is probably the best year to beat them. That's troubling.
Dive into that a little bit. What's swaying you towards O State?
They just got they just better offense. They had a bad game against Oregon, but Oregon turned out to be a pretty good team, and it was just, you got the new quarterback playing for Ohio State, so it was early in the season, when they took their loss, it's, to be honest, they just look better for real. Just like they got the better athletes, I'm thinking that. So like the athletes with the coach, and I still don't see if Harbaugh getting it done. But Michigan is playing better this year though. Like they are doing what they're supposed to do versus the teams
Mm-hmm.
supposed to. So I mean that's a good sign that they might have something. But they can't take they're not explosive like I was just talking to Kay and like probably the worst part of the O State defense is the secondary because it's the youngest. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
they can't take advantage of that. It don't even matter, man.
Yeah. So on the adverse side, Kay, what's swaying you towards Michigan?
Yeah, I just like how they're playing this year, in reference to really controlling the football. It seems like they're getting back to old times in reference to running the ball, getting stops on defense. So
Mm-hmm.
I do agree, O State always has athletes, though. That's always been the difference between the two programs. Don't get me wrong, Malik can tell you, he's definitely well-versed in recruiting. He'll tell you Michigan's been recruiting too, but it's just,
Mm-hmm.
he said it's a combination of coaching and the athletes. So
Mm-hmm.
it does look like O State has more playmakers, as far as big play opportunities go. But I just think, man, just with how Michigan's been playing, and I just feel like, they've been hearing, the rumors all year, all off season, ever since last year, can they get it done? Can they beat ranked teams? Can they finally get over that hump and beat O State? Let's be honest here. When he took that job, of course, he did a great job in the league. He did a great job while he was at Stanford. But those alumni members, they want to see you beat O State. That's
Right.
big to them. That's like their national championship, so to speak, right? And I just feel like he's been preaching that to them, and I feel like you could just tell them how they play, how they've been playing, and I just feel like they're just going to continue to improve. And by the time they play, which is during Thanksgiving weekend, that weekend after Thanksgiving, which is still a little under a month away, I feel like they'll definitely be well prepared. So we'll see, man. I wouldn't bet on it, but I just have a hunch. They're playing in Ann Arbor this year too. Quick fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully they can get that win at home.
Just I guess a teaser question. Um, if they don't, if Michigan State doesn't win and they don't get it done, how long do you think Jim Harbaugh has left at Michigan?
It's a good
I think
question.
they just gave him a new contract.
They did.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If he still ain't beat him, so
Because how long has it been now?
he's probably been there for a good 5, 6 years, I would say. Probably even more. But I mean, if he ain't beat him up until this point, and they ain't ready to fire him, and it looked like the program was going backwards there for a second. All you gotta do is have a couple good, you know, all right seasons, above average. He might be around for a minute, until they get another NFL job. If that,
Yeah.
I don't even know if that'll happen. To be honest with
Yeah. I think we touched on this before. We talked about it before, just how coaches just jump around from program to program. Like they might not be successful at this program, then they go to the next program. I just always thought that was funny. Not funny, but weird. I don't know. I guess weird a little bit that they just recycle coaches and it's kind of like the same trend, over and over again. But
you. Yeah, that's like one of the best professions to be in. To be honest with you.
right. I mean, it's a lot of moving around and stuff like that, but I feel like there's always coaching gigs, especially for people who have experience. If you won at least like one time, like you got a good shot of getting another job. It's somewhere. Like it don't even matter.
It's just really about who you know when coaching comes. Like when it comes to coaching, like that's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying. Like it, it doesn't really. I mean, good coach, not good coach, for real, for real. Like it's just like people got trees. You know what I'm saying? People just got connections, like from top to bottom. So if you get in that carousel, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna always have a job at some level. It's kind of crazy. I know we speak on like the black head coaches in the league, you know what I'm saying? There's still a lot of black coaches just like coaching period position.
Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
position coaches, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, it's just like you said, it's a recycle thing. You know what I mean? That's why it's one of the best ones to be in because you always have a job at some point.
Yeah.
And to piggyback on what you said, Malik, he did sign a contract extension in January of this year. Coach Harbaugh will be the coach of Michigan through 2025. So to answer your question, they do have him locked in, but if they lose to O State this year and not trying to manifest anything negative, if they lose to them again next year, I can see some hot seat type discussion, because like I said, because he's been there at least 4 years, Malik.
Mm-hmm.
At least he's 0 for 4. You know what I mean? So y'all just do the math if you add 2, you know what I mean? So they're not gonna like losing.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure they think in worst case scenario they got enough money to buy him out. I'm sure they don't want to do that, but they do have enough money to buy him out. But anywho, just a little teaser question. We'll move right on. Is there anybody that you're on the lookout for? Who are you on the lookout for?
As far as what?
As far as teams are concerned.
Like college football?
Yeah, we're still on college football.
Oregon. Oregon only has 1 loss, and they do have a head-to-head win over Ohio State. So I like Oregon to maybe creep up there and have something to say. SMU and Cincinnati gonna have to play here soon. SMU's undefeated, so a little bit of love. They might shake it all up too. Other than that, maybe Penn State. They got 1 loss now, but they got a chance to avenge it. They still got to play Ohio State. So maybe just to see how good they are. That was a weird loss they had versus Illinois. That was kind of crazy.
Super weird.
So maybe that. The Big Ten is real interesting for sure. They got a bunch of teams in the top 10. They gotta play each other.
Yeah.
But probably Oregon for sure. I like to see what Oregon does. That's probably it for me though right now. Oregon. I can't think of anybody else that's super scary. Oregon, Penn State. I give them 2.
What you got, Kay?
Yeah, just looking, you know what I mean? Like he mentioned, as far as the top 12 is concerned, on the lookout for, I'll be honest, it's just going to be interesting to see what happens, right, as far as playoff implications, because Wake Forest is undefeated. Now, I hope they don't remain undefeated. I hope Reek and them, can beat them.
Is that this weekend?
That they play Wake Forest? No, they play Louisville.
Okay.
But that's not necessarily a team that I'm looking out for, but that's a team that I got my eyes on because if they remain undefeated, it's going to be interesting because, like I said, we both just named, our 5 contenders, you know what I mean? Of course, 2 of those teams, hopefully, God willing, will be able to play each other in the SEC championship, referencing Georgia and Alabama. But let's say Alabama beats Georgia, it'll probably switch. Right now, Alabama's 3rd, Georgia's 1. So if we beat them, they're probably going to put Georgia either 2 or 3rd. That's still one of the top teams in the nation. They got the best defense in the nation statistically by far. So it's going to be interesting to see what the committee does with Wake Forest because that is still a Power 5 conference, even though Clemson is not the same this year. So it's just going to be interesting to see if they finish out undefeated. So again, not necessarily someone I'm looking out for, but it's someone I'm looking forward to see what happens with them if they remain undefeated and finish out. Because we're close. There's 7 games in. They're 7-0, so we're knocking at that door. So.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I like both lists. Yeah, I think that Wake Forest is going to be interesting, depending on how they can end out the season. Another real quick, I'm just throwing it out there. Who you guys like for the Heisman?
It's a great question. I still like Bryce Young, no bias.
That is a great question.
He's third in the nation in passing touchdowns, 8th in yards.
I like, yeah, probably Bryce Young. Probably.
This year's weird, right? Because it's like nobody else that really have the storyline. Of course, there's mad people that's balling, right? But this year's a little interesting because there's not many major storylines with some of these major players for these different programs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's probably hard to.
Oh, your boy from Michigan State right now. I like him too. Kenneth Walker.
Where
He doing his thing. They undefeated.
that they are.
Give him a shout out. He got like an outshot chance. I think he's a contender with it. Other than that, no, I don't know. Oregon back would be if he would have never got hurt.
Who was it?
Oregon's running back. I think his name's like C.J. Burdell or something like that.
Mm.
He got hurt.
CJ was sweet. You can't say nobody on Georgia, no disrespect.
Nah, Georgia's a defensive juggernaut.
This year was weird for the committee. Because you know who I thought about too? What if they try to throw Caleb Williams in there? You know what I mean? Like, not that he has the numbers to support that case, but that play he pulled off on that 4th down play the other day, that was – if he had the proper momentum storyline-wise, that would have propelled him so much, like if this was the game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody winning the Heisman half the season.
Facts. Unless you're going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, probably Bryce Young though, because like I said, it's no major storylines this year in college. It's a little unique because Spencer Rattler was the Heisman favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But this happened with him. He's no longer Oklahoma's starting running back, so it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting for sure.
Yeah, and I think well, just in my personal opinion, the Cupid shuffle that's been going on with the top 10, I think that has a lot to do with it because like in the years past, you got a clear, Alabama usually got a couple people on that Heisman list because they running away with it. But like you said, like Georgia is the number 1 team right now, and they're a defensive team. So I think that's kind of interesting too. Just like nobody being able to run away with it, the award. So. I agree with you. I think it's going to be interesting for the committee. Very, very interesting. But if you guys don't have anything else to add about NCAA football or NCAA football, I'll be saying NCAA. We'll jump right into NFL football, and we'll start with Overreaction Mondays. Are the Chiefs in panic mode? They look like it.
Yeah.
They look bad, but I'll let you guys give us some insight on that.
It's nothing to really be said with that. It's self-explanatory. You see what we see in Drew. Like,
can't stop that. Nosebleed.
They can't stop that, bro. Like they gotta. Mahomes going for glory every throw, man. Just turning it over. I think he's had like an interception like his last 16 games.
Yeah.
Crazy like that. It's wow. So yeah, they're in panic mode. They're probably not gonna make playoffs. They look bad all around. You know what I'm saying?
That's your overreaction Monday item. They're not making the playoffs, League City.
Yeah, probably.
Oh man. Look.
So Is this a better question before you go? Okay, is this a better question? Like, what has gotten them to this point? Like, is it injuries? Is it bad coaching? Is the NFL just has the NFL just caught up to what they do? Like, what is it, or what do you guys think it is?
I'm gonna be honest, Leak and Dre, I was curious how they were going to be able to build their roster. Because remember, they paid, the D lineman, they paid Tyran, paid Mahomes, paid Travis Kelsey, paid Tyreek. So I get it, you paying all your pillars, but it's like, what free agents are you going to be able to bring in? You know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
you're going to plug some of those holes. Because we see now, it's their issue is the secondary. My
mm-hmm,
goodness. AJ Brown was crazy yesterday on that minute. Julio didn't get hurt. Could you just imagine? So like they
mm-hmm,
don't see that as a team they want to face again, just from a passing game standpoint. Because it's what I mean? They normally do well against Derrick Henry to their credit. You know what I mean? They held him to 86 yards yesterday. I want to say on 23 carries. But I mean, come on. Ryan Tannehill was able to hoop against them a little bit. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Henry still threw one, like I said. AJ Brown went off. Julio was looking like he was well on his way to get off. So it's just like, I would say it's definitely not coaching. Uh, I would say it just comes down to money, man. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily have the finances to plug those holes with notable free agents. You know what I mean? And they're having some trouble with Sereno. Hopefully he rights those coverage mistakes that he's been making. I know y'all seen the memes where Tyran got his hands up, like just looking like, "What are you doing, bro?" You know what I mean? Yeah, I would say it's definitely a money thing. To how they can build that team to be successful. Good teams that are around our league. Like Leafs, Rams. The Cardinals right now. You know what I mean? They're all making aggressive trades or they're making aggressive moves to pull in free agents to help beef up the defense so they can be, contenders. You know what I mean? You can't just
mm-hmm,
depend on quarterback play or depend on that's just not a comfortable way of playing. Thinking Patrick Mahomes is just going to outscore everybody. I mean, of course, he's done it so many times before in these past 3 years that we've been watching him. But if you can't build that roster to have continued success, then eventually the league is going to catch up. But what you think? Like,
I just think it's like it's bad defense. Bad defense. Patrick Mahomes forcing stuff. I mean, because they invested in linemen, so I mean they don't really got a run game, but it's probably just a combination of they got a little defensive scheme you can kind of like stop their over the top game. You can just literally decide not to give anything up over the top and make them go down the field. It seems like Mahomes might have like a problem just like checking it down all the way down the field. Like he's always looking to make a little more more of a play than what's there sometimes. I mean, I guess that's kind of just there's a lot of pressing to be honest with you, man. It's
mm-hmm.
the defense
That's it.
bad, so he pressing hard, on the offensive side, and it's really just backfiring because they can't stop anybody. So
Mm-hmm,
they ain't
mm-hmm.
scoring and giving it up.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Just from my opinion, they look very unsettled, like on both sides of the ball. It just looks like everybody either like nervous or something. That team just screams like anxiety. When you watch them, it's just weird, like to see them, act in such a manner or play in such a manner, play in such a manner. Um,
they're
but
the,
go ahead.
they're the 11th seed in the AFC, by the way.
Sheesh, how many teams are there?
In the AFC,
Hmm. It's split, right? AFC and NFC.
16.
Mm,
But they're only one game out. You know what I mean? And they're right behind the Browns. So I'm saying that to say, the Browns are facing injury, so I'm sure they'll get back in the playoff picture. Yes, I won't say they won't make the playoffs, but it's definitely looking rough though. The AFC sweet this year, man. The Bengals.
mm-hmm,
You know what I mean?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. moving on. To the AFC, are the Bengals legit AFC North contenders?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it's easy. Yeah, they look good. They playing great defense.
Do
Playing.
y'all like do y'all like them to win it?
Yeah, why not?
They beat Baltimore yesterday. A lot of people don't realize in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Handily, may I add.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know,
Yeah, I like them.
I like them too, man. They got Jamar Chase. Look, like I know everybody was raving crazy about Justin Jefferson, but if y'all remember their college days, Jamar Chase, oh my gosh. So, he's just really showing, that was just a great receiver room that they had at that institution. I still won't say their name, Roll Tide. But Jamar Chase is looking like statistically he's about to break Moss's records. You know what I'm saying? So it's they got a lot of talent over there, man. That receiver room with Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and running back Joe Mixon. Their tight end is nice. They got some pieces over there, man. I didn't think it would all come together this fast because I was one of those people like, all right, you're going to invest in a receiver. You need a tackle, a lineman to protect Joey B.
Mm-hmm.
But man, they showing, man, you can plug and play, and we got the skill players. You know what I'm saying, to really contend with anybody, and they're showing it with how they've been able to score, man. So, salute to them. Salute to the Bengals, who I thought they were at least a year or two removed from contending for the AFC North, but they're
Mm-hmm.
they're serious. They look good.
Mm-hmm.
Joey's hooping this year, man. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're legit. That's not an overreaction Monday item. Like they legit can win the AFC North. I mean, it is, but it's like not really because if they're 5-2, you know what I mean. So it's not too far fetched. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You got anything to add, Lee?
Nah. I think they should.
Shout out to Perrier. He a Bengals fan, ain't
Is he?
he? I
Is it?
think so. I think so. Well, at least he was.
I can't remember, man.
I'm pretty sure he is because Chris Henry used to play for the Bengals, right?
Yeah,
And he used to call him his cousin. I don't know if it's really his cousin or not, but
got you.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a Bengals fan. So shout out to him. Shout out to him. You mentioned Jamar Chase on he's on pace to break Moss's record. How big is that? Do you think he's gonna get it or?
I mean, he's got a chance. They got an extra game, so he's got another opportunity to get it. I would say so. I mean, it looks like it.
He's going to definitely break the yardage record. I know Malik and I was talking last year when Justin Jefferson broke the record, the touchdowns. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
don't remember Moss had like 14 tons his rookie year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a tough mark to break. You know what I mean? I do think him on the yards. Do think he'll get him on the receptions because Jamar Chase and Joey Burrow, they played together in college, so he's definitely going to
Mm-hmm.
get opportunities. It's just that touchdown leak. The receivers just don't. I was thinking about this the other day, man. The receivers just don't score as consistently as they used to back in the day, and I don't know if it's because maybe our wideouts now don't demand the ball in the red zone like T.O. and Randy Moss and just different notable figures back. Marvin Harrison, even though he was more so like a silent killer, you know what I mean. But we had our receivers in the league that consistently, if y'all look at the numbers every year, double-digit TDs, double-digit TDs, double-digit TDs. So it's going to be tough for him to beat that mark of 14 touchdowns, but I definitely think he'll get close. Definitely can see him having double-digit touchdowns regardless of the fact, because like I said, the young bull's been killing, and him and Joey B just have a great connection that stems from college. So
Mm-hmm.
it's cool to watch.
Yeah, it's good for the game. It's good for the game. Moving on, brother. I know your heart is aching a little bit. Are your 49ers in trouble?
I I would say honestly, um, I was thinking about it today. As far as the division, it's gonna be tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Cardinals are undefeated. Malik's Rams, they only got one loss. So it's going to be tough for us to win the NFC West. But I still have playoff hopes. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, y'all, we have 11 games left. It's a 17-game season. We're 2-4. We could easily win 8 straight. And now everybody's right back on our line, Dree. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
10-4, now they're like, man, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
we just got to take it one game at a time. I don't think we're a bad team. I love the talent on our roster. It's just I don't want to play the blame game. You know, of course it's a collective thing, but we have to score. There's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy's just not consistently completing drives like he was a couple years ago when, you know, we were, to be quite frank, vouching for him. You know what I mean? And I still think he has it in there. It's just like last night he just looks lost, kind of, just to be honest. You know what I mean? Maybe he's feeling the pressure because he got the young bull behind him, but
Mhm.
it's crazy. Just 3 turnovers again last night. It's like, bro, it's like any type way he could give up the ball is like coming out of his hands somehow. Like it's crazy, you know. But I definitely still have faith in him, and you know, I definitely want him to you know, to succeed. But I will add this, you know, if he doesn't get his act together, Coach Shanahan gonna roll with Trey Lance. You know what I mean? I just got the notification to my phone that he announced because he said last night when we lost, of course, you know, I could feel him being a little emotional when they asked him was Jimmy gonna start next week. He said, I guess so, but I gotta check the film. I gotta see how healthy we are. So of course he's basically read between the lines, Jimmy, like if Trey Lance is healthy next week, like I'm gonna throw the young boy out there because if you're gonna basically hold the offense back, if the offense,
Underperform.
then you might as well throw the young boy in and just let him develop then. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the offense at this point should be wide open to Jimmy because he's been there for years. He's comfortable in the system. So again, you know, I don't want to play the blame game or point fingers, but Jimmy gotta step up his play or just throw the young boy in, man, because it's tough, man. It's tough each week watching your team score only 12 points when you got, you know, a stout receiver, you know, and Debo, and you got another youngin that's coming up that's nice in BA and Brandon Ayuk. You know what I mean? We got a nice couple slot players. We got, you know, one of the best tight ends in the league. We got one of the best offensive play callers in the league. I mean, it's just so much variables that work well together. You know what I mean? But you know, you got to have good quarterback play in our league. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
As of right now, you know, it's looking like, you know, we got the worst quarterback play in the division, and
Mhm.
that's not a good recipe for success. But Jimmy will turn it around now. He has to, or it's done. You know what I mean? So
So just a follow up question. You just said yourself we're not even well, we're about a quarter of the way through the season. Um, and if they do throw the young QB out there, do you just live with the growing pains
I
if there are any?
I thought about that earlier, and Malik and I talked about that over the summer. Um, to answer your question directly, you're gonna have to live through the growing pains.
Mhm.
You know, unfortunately, that's why I'm trying to. You know, I don't want us to make an emotional decision because we've lost 4 straight.
Mhm.
Started out 2-0, we've lost 4 straight, and we lost. Jimmy looked like that last night coming off of a bye. Man, I add it's man, you know, I'm keeping my composure, but it's frustrating to watch, man, because like we got talent. It makes no sense why we're not scoring. Like, come on,
Mhm.
bro. You know what I mean? So it's just like, um, if we do make that decision, we have to live with the growing pains. You know what I mean? We can't think this year he's going to be, you know, the guy that gets us into the playoffs. Like it's okay, you know, we put him in there to develop him, to make sure he's the one, which I think he's the one. So you know, you
Mhm.
live with what he does and what he doesn't do. So,
Mhm.
but hopefully Jimmy can, you know, bounce back and make up for his recent play. But yeah, man. And it's not just on Jimmy, man. We, you know, defensively, I know we have been, you know, holding our own on defense, but you know, still 30 points allowed last night. That's, you know, unacceptable. You know what I mean? We got to play good complementary ball. So it's not all on Jimmy, but you know, you got to play complementary ball too. When we get stops, you got to score. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm. Keep that defense off the field a little bit.
yeah.
You got anything to add, Leaky?
Yeah, they in trouble, man. I know, Kay. That's his team, so he wanted to get the long answer. But they in trouble.
Keep it short and sweet. Yeah, they in
Probably
trouble.
the division up, to be honest, like he said.
Mm-hmm.
Playoffs still possible, but you gotta start collecting some wins. Cause any more losses, you get closer to the new 8-8, which is going to be like, I think it's like 9-7 now, or 9-8 now.
Mm-hmm.
It just uh they don't look good, man. To be honest with you, I know they banged up. They got some injuries in the secondary specifically,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, I mean, I mean, I've been there before, not having a quarterback that can do much. When you feel like you got talent, and I feel like I have more talent than what they have. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of my situation with Jared Goff, uh, but yeah, it's just looking like Jimmy's not the guy. Shanahan's not. I don't know if he's not dialing it up on purpose, and that's probably what the reason is. But I mean, Jimmy's still turning it over, so you might as well try to pull out all the stops, start collecting these wins. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, they in trouble. It's just bad because they got I think their cap situation is fairly good, but they
Mm-hmm.
got a nice roster that
Mm-hmm.
they could contend for a championship. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
they already, it's looking like they might be on their way to wasting one of the years with the rookie contract QB. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well try to get him out there. But
Mm-hmm.
um, just speaking on this season, yeah, they're in trouble. It's no way around it. A couple more losses and it's going to be bad. Um, and I think Shanahan might be on the hot seat, man. I think so.
Mm.
It's
That I
another
think.
overreaction Monday item.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding, kind of, because I think they've been out there 5 years now, or something like that, 4 or 5 years. They only got one. Him and John Lynch only got one winning season in
Mm.
5 seasons. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, I mean, after this year, if this year doesn't look good, I mean, you gotta start looking at it a little bit. I mean, I would say so.
They
That's
better
just
not.
me.
He'd be snagged in 2 seconds. They better not. I hope not.
Yeah, the OC, somebody grabbed it for sure.
So
For
I
sure.
thought about that too, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? In reference to him and John Lynch being on the hot seat, but I don't want to manifest that A and B. I don't. I just think they have such a great relationship with Jed York. I just think Jed understands. It's not because the talent. You know what I mean? The talent is there. You know what I mean? I know. Uh, it's not too often you let you let the head coach pick the quarterback, but I mean that just shows the trust. Mr. York has and Coach Shanahan. You know what I mean? So in a way, you gotta let him see it through. You know what I mean? Give it a little time. But yeah, I wouldn't. I just don't think he'll be on the hot seat just solely based off their relationship. And if Mr. York is, just I've listened to interviews, just the type of person that he let Coach Shanahan pick. He told him, when he offered him the job, Coach Shanahan did like, okay, if I take the job, you gotta let me pick my GM. So you kind of gotta let them in. We don't have John Lynch hasn't made bad roster moves, man. We've had a couple draft picks, not a few, a couple draft picks that didn't pan out. You know what I mean? But for the most part, man, he's done a great job in the draft. With Defoe, Eric Armstead, Bosa, Kinlaw, Debo, Ayuk. You know what I mean? I could go on and on. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, Mr. York, allows us to really show and tell in reference to putting it all together on the field and stacking these wins because I feel like we'll be all right with the proper QB play for sure. I mean, he knows that's the only thing that's missing. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, if you guys don't have anything to add, that will conclude our NFL section uh, of today's episode, and we'll jump right into the NBA. First on our agenda, We got the NBA's 75th anniversary list. So top 75 players of all times, of all time, excuse me. Um, do you all agree with the list first and foremost?
Uh, Besides the White Howard not being on there, yeah, I guess so. Um,
Mm.
Oh, you felt the white should be on there for sure.
yeah, for sure. The White should be on there. They kind of disrespecting. Uh,
The
and
White came in the league on fire. He
yeah,
came in the league on fire.
he was a dog.
Hmm.
It really just depends. I mean, they got a lot of old heads on there too. So like, if you want to go on like the talent thing, like I know people was talking about Kyrie as well. Yeah, Kyrie is probably better than a lot of those people up there. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm. But I don't think Kyrie has played a full season, has he? Well, he played one full season. That's the season they got a championship, right?
yeah, it's just once you get into the optics of it, he just hasn't done enough by himself and outside of like one season with Bron or a couple of seasons with Bron to like really be able to say that. The big one was Clay Thompson too. I know he taking it to heart, you know,
Hmm.
um, but he's probably not top 75 either. Yeah, the only problem I had with it was the White. I mean, I know,
What about Tracy?
yeah, T Mac. I mean,
That's who I was gonna say.
That's my pick. I mean, I like Dwight too, cause like I said, they play with
in the
Dwight.
playoffs, so it's kind of like
It's tough.
it's tough, like because he
Yeah.
literally never made it out the first round. I mean, I know he did with the Spurs like there at the end, but that don't count. Like,
He with the Rockets, but he got hurt. A lot of people don't remember.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, T Mac. I mean, his playoff shrinkage is probably the biggest downfall for him. But yeah, he's probably better than a lot of them people up there too. For real, for real. We just speaking on basically talent wise.
hmm,
I give that to the people who want to make that argument. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends. I know they wanted to leave some old heads in there. You know what I'm saying? Some people who was there in the beginning made the league what it was and stuff like that. Like I get it. Uh, it's probably not the best list as far as talent wise go, but probably that they could accumulate. You know what I'm saying? It's probably
yeah,
uh, yeah. I mean,
yeah. It's hard to get 75. What you got, Kay?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the list for the most part. My thing about Dwight, and I mean, y'all both know I played big growing up. You know what I'm saying? But Dwight kind of fizzled out, y'all, when he was like 27. I just looked at the stats. When he was 27, that's when he played with the Lakers. You know what I mean? That's when him and Kobe tried that, and y'all saw, it was 1 year, it wasn't successful. The next year, he was in Houston, and every year from Houston, it was just
that's
decline.
9 seasons.
Yeah,
He came in the league when he was 18. Like
That's a fact.
yeah, yeah.
I don't feel
But
like
even with that though, like you think about how he's been able to rebrand himself. Like at first, Dwight Howard was, that was the offense ran through him, and now he's rebranded himself into a defensive player. Now he's always been a defensive player, but he's been able to be successful being just that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that says a lot.
just fizzling out at the end means like you don't you got to cover up what you did in the beginning or like what you did for a while. Like he had a like consistent, sustained level of like dominance for a lot of years. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
Like 6 years at least.
so,
I'm
like
looking at it.
you got to give that up to him. Like he did lead his team to the finals. He won
And
time
go,
defensive player of the year, first team All NBA, all that. So
mm,
you gotta give it up. Like Reggie Miller never made first team All NBA. He on the list. Like
mm,
you
good
know,
call out.
like so.
And you gotta also take into consideration how the game changed over the years. You know what I'm saying? When Dwight first came in, the game was a big man's game, and then the game slowly transitioned into guard play. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, the list is fine for the most part. It ain't a talent list. You know what I'm saying? It's just
yeah,
greatest player list. They just trying to show some love. So at least it's fine.
yeah,
I would say.
yeah. Speaking of the top 75 list, one of those players was Stephen Curry. He has started the season off hot. Looks like he's on a vengeance. Uh, give us your opinions, guys, on his play.
I mean, we're only a few games in, but at this point, it's nothing.
So you're not excited. You like it's whatever. You
Yeah,
think.
nice like that, So you, we've seen Steph way hotter. So I mean, that's like the craziest part about it. Like we've seen hotter nights from Steph.
Yeah. To me, it looked like he just got a little pep in his step. You know what I'm saying?
Say,
Like he trying to yam and everything. Like,
I feel
bro,
like,
feeling
right,
good.
I mean, he had last year was kind of tough for him. You know what I'm saying? Not having the squad he normally has. So he probably just trying to get out to a better start this year. I would assume, to be honest,
Mm,
oh yeah,
until Clay comes back, they get fully healthy, maybe make some moves.
I will say he was going crazy the other night though, bro. Against the Clippers, he had like 25 points in the first quarter. Uh, he went 5 of 5 from three. He didn't miss any shots at all. He went 9 of 9 4. So I think Steph is definitely starting off hot, showing and proving that he's definitely the best point guard in the league. You know what I mean? You could debate your mother, but he got the head honcho spot for me. You know what I'm saying? And he
hmm
that early. So we'll see, man. Definitely see big things for Steph this year. He's definitely gonna break the all-time 3-pointers made record this year. Look out for that. Probably, I want to say he needed like 130 something as it
hmm
started. So I could see
He gonna
that
crush
being
that.
broke again by like midway,
Mid season. Yeah.
midway point. Y'all call you heard it here first. The midway point through the season, he would have broke the record. So, um, yeah, man, we gonna see, man. And shout out to Clay, man. Clay, you could see like when he was going, Steph was going crazy again against the Clippers, and Clay was like not hype. Like he's over there like mad, like because he can't play. And I just respect that. And I know you do, Dree, as a hooper. You know what I mean? Like he's such a hooper that he can't even be hype about what his teammates are doing. Like it's killing him not to be out there. So,
hmm
shout out to Clay, man. Just be patient. I'm looking forward to seeing you touch the floor to see. I just hope you still got it as far as that Jimmy and that J work. But I feel like he.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure he does because all of his injuries were lower body injuries. So I'm sure he's just been working on that touch.
mhm.
Um, so I'm sure he's gonna come back with a vengeance too. So be interesting to see. Moving on, we got the AD and the White debate, scuffle, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, how you guys feel about that? I mean, the Lakers were able to bounce back yesterday with a win against the Grizzlies, but yeah, that's tough to see. What you got?
Uh, I mean, teammates get in scuffles, I guess, all the time. I mean, I guess
But during the game though, like,
towards the game, but we've seen it before, to be
yeah,
honest with you. So, I mean, I ain't think nothing of it, especially seeing how they bounced back and won. Like, I really didn't think nothing of it, and I didn't know what happened or what was said. I still don't know what was happened, like what happened or what was said, to be honest with you. So,
mm-hmm.
um, I didn't really think nothing of it, just besides, you know, they had a little disagreement over there.
Yeah. The media, of course, they pick and choose what they want to release and then what they don't want to release, right? Because they showed that, but then what they failed to show was immediately after that. They was cool coming out of halftime at the top of the third quarter when AD is shooting. The White walked up to him, said something to him. You could read AD's body language. He like, you good. Like that's nothing. Just like how you made it seem like that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, Drake, you know what I'm saying, being a point guard, being a captain, you know what I'm saying, Malik knows, we all know you gonna have disagreement with your brothers, your sisters, you know what I'm saying, but it's
Mm-hmm.
comes back from that.
Mm-hmm.
Answer what you said, Malik. I watched, of course, I'm diehard Laker fan, so I watched the post game press conference, and Dwight said they got into a disagreement about something on the floor. And but he told him, Dwight told him, we still brothers. I'm here for you. Anything you need, that's what I'm here for. I got your back regardless. So, at the end of the day, it's good for clickbait.
Mhm.
At the same time, we gotta keep things in perspective in reference to, we don't want to be showing that type of energy towards each other, but also, just to be totally honest, the white, you don't want to be getting into those type of situations where you arguing with the star players. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Right.
any reason. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We just talked about how he's been rebranding himself and he's done a great job. I'd hate to see uh, there be any setbacks because of a minor argument. So I'm glad, nothing happened to Dwight. It didn't blow up. And I'm glad
Mhm.
we're able to get that situated because he is a big part of what we do. And, he
Mhm.
will continue to be a big part of what we do. And AD knows that. So, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and to just to piggyback off your point, of them kind of like that in the situation, like we've seen the adverse of that, right, with Katie and Draymond, where the situation drags out, and then it becomes a catastrophe. So, I think either obviously AD and Dwight did a good job of squashing it, and letting the media know it's squashed and deading it, like let's just
End of the day,
ain't nothing to talk about. You feel what I'm saying? So.
that's good.
Um,
Katie and Draymond because they definitely dropped the ball.
and I mean, KD, Draymond, Chris Paul, James Harden, the list goes on.
Oh, when he
So
smacked his hand away.
yeah, smack his hand away. But yeah, the list goes on. But I think they did a really good job of just squashing it. And like you said, it happens. It just it's tough when you got to see it like on the floor when it manifests itself during the game. Um, but yeah. Um, Kyrie still unvaccinated, still not playing. Um, what you guys think about it?
Kyrie is a grown man, make his own decision for real. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, of course, you got your vax and unvax people. You know what I'm saying? Going at it. It's gotten real political. People are losing
yeah,
their job. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And Kyrie said it's just a protest for people who are losing their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like he just trying to bring awareness.
yeah.
Stand up. So I mean, if he don't want to get vaccinated, he don't want to get vaccinated. I mean, of course, you got the people who say like, his team needs him and stuff like that. But like this
Yeah,
is
because Brooklyn 0-3, right?
They wanted
they
to.
wanted to, yeah.
1-2. Okay, okay, okay.
But I mean, this is a thing like it's past sports. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're talking about the vaccination, it's real life.
Mhm,
So that's a real life decision. I mean, basketball isn't forever. It never is. It was never supposed to be anyway. So,
mhm.
I mean, you can't fault him for making the decision or standing on whatever side of the fence he stands on. Like this is something that's way above just playing the sport. So I don't. I mean, he'll come back whenever I guess his protest is over. Whenever he feels like he wants to be vaccinated, like he'll be back. Like Kyrie's still young, but I mean, even if he didn't want to, like,
He's straight.
yeah, I'd say he's made enough money.
He's straight.
Uh,
Yeah, them
doesn't seem
NBA
like he got.
contract guaranteed too, so he's still getting paid. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying?
Yeah,
Right.
I ain't got too much of an opinion on it. Just he can do what he wants to do, man.
Yeah, my particular perspective is I definitely want to give kudos to Kyrie for just sticking to his guns. You know what I mean, and really just showing an example of not being told what to do, not being forced to do something you don't want to do. You know what I mean?
Not conforming.
At the end of the day, um, we all know how they do in sports. You know what I mean? Certain sports, certain leagues are more free than others in reference to you being able to be opinionated and you being able to be free. And the NBA is definitely one of those leagues, and I love and appreciate that about our league in reference to the NBA because they do let players speak on social issues and let them, do different protests and different things of that nature. So of course, the Nets came out, kind of, bringing the hammer down, saying that, he can't be a part of the team if it's just half the availability, right? But I do want to give him kudos for, at least showing that example of, not being forced to do something that you don't want to do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like bro said, everybody has their opinions on being vaccinated or unvaccinated. You know what I mean? Some people bring religion into it. Some people bring politics into it. So I definitely show whatever your reason is for getting vaccinated or still remaining unvaccinated. I definitely respect you out there, and definitely shout out to Kyrie, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, speaking of Kyrie and the Nets, we just talked about the Lakers. Um, will they be okay?
I think so in the long haul. I mean, a lot of people gotta think, man, real quick. I'm not one of those people that just because their team loses or just because you see a team start out 0-2 or 1-2 that it's panic mode. It's
Mm-hmm.
basketball, y'all. It's 82 games.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of the fact, there's new players on both teams, so you got
Mm-hmm.
to let these teams develop and build chemistry. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think over time, you know, they will show why both teams were favorites to, clash in the finals. So, yeah, I'm not worried about the Lakers at all, and definitely not about the Nets. I mean, both teams are just too talented, and the Lakers just have too many veterans to allow a slow start to, derail them from their goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even. It's not even a thought to me. It's too early in the season. Basketball is such a long season. 82 games. Um, if they still struggling and don't look like they ain't got away like after Christmas or something, what I'm saying? Like,
Like mid-season-ish,
yeah, then you could
All-Star.
say like what's going on. But I expect both of them to kick it into whatever gear they need to kick it into. It's
Yeah.
early, but I will say though, like uh, I don't think the Nets is the clear cut favorite though out the East. Though I like the Bucks. Like I do like the Bucks. I know people just already putting them in there, but from
Mm-hmm.
the refs calling the games this year, what I'm saying, and the way they can't stop Giannis, it's gonna be a problem. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, though, they'll be fine though. They'll be right there contending for the finals for sure, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get it twisted. That Wild Wild West is tough. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying?
Got the Suns,
Suns, Clippers,
Clippers.
Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the Jazz. You know what I'm saying?
Jazz.
So
Yeah.
we definitely got to handle business, but I still have faith that we're gonna come out. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we got Braun and AD and Russ.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once they figure it out, they'll be. It's gonna be scary. And then Melo, went crazy last night. So yeah, it'll be scary. But yeah, that does it. That does it for our NBA portion of the pod, episode 10. So okay, if you would like to go ahead and close us out.
Yeah, man. Real quick, we definitely appreciate y'all all the support. We definitely appreciate y'all support. Please continue to like, subscribe, view, and share our content. You know what I mean? Definitely want to throw that out there. And real quick, this is like a dedication episode. RIP to the homie Fino. You know what I'm saying? It's 10th. For those that know him by his rap name. You know what I'm saying? And definitely want to send prayers out there for John Brown. You know what I mean? One of the young kings from the city. Definitely want to, show love to his family and definitely, just keep fighting, man. You know what I'm saying? Just keep fighting, bro. Prayers for you. You know what I mean? I can't wait to hear his story, you know what I'm saying, when he does bounce back and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, definitely prayers for John and, just keep your prayers with the family for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Definitely prayers up to the family. And rest in peace, Fino.
Yeah, man. But with that said, man, it's your boy K. I'm with Dream Malik, the CSN the Network podcast, episode 10, and we out.
We out.